Things are happening fast and furious for the Canon EOS R1. Yesterday we brought you new photos, new specifications, and today Canon Rumors is filled in the blanks. We already told you that the Canon EOS R1 has a 24 megapixel full frame stacked sensor with a 2 millisecond readout time. And the autofocus system, well, it's quad pixel autofocus, and it's got a new AI enhanced autofocus system that is really quite impressive when it comes to tracking subjects. But now let's turn our attention to some of the new capabilities. So we already told you that it has a mechanical shutter, and in the mechanical mode, it's capable of 16-bit RAW. In electronic, it's 14-bit RAW. And as far as the eye-controlled autofocus system, it has version 2, but we don't know what version 2 means. We don't know how much better it is, but being version 2 and the old version being version 1, it's going to be likely better. But now let's turn our attention to the video specifications. Well, the Canon EOS R1 is going to be limited to 6K RAW. No surprises there, obviously, with a 24 megapixel sensor, but the frame rate in 6K up to 120 frames per second. But that's it as far as the video modes go, but we're likely, I'm going to make an assumption here that in 4K it's going to be able to do 4K all the way up to at least 120 frames per second, and it's going to be 6K oversampled 4K. The R3 had really good detailed video, did a really good job, and could go up to 6 hours, well, until it would stop recording. So instead of having a 30-minute record limit, it had a 6-hour record limit. The R1, no mention of any record limit, but I can't imagine it being worse than the Canon EOS R3. But now there's another capability for video shooters. You're going to be happy about this. We have confirmation. We already talked about this. This is kind of a new one, but it was kind of glossed over in yesterday's video, that the Canon EOS R1 is going to have a full-size HDMI slot. It's also confirmed that it's going to have dual CF Express Type B cards. That really was a foregone conclusion anyways. We didn't expect that to not happen. But what Canon Rumors is adding is that they're going to be compatible with Gen 4. Gen 4. That has me wondering what some of the specifications are in terms of continuous shooting. Because if we're going to do Gen 4, or Gen 3 can push, currently on the market, 1.5 gigabytes per second. Gen 4, there's only, I think ProGrade has a card out, and that can push up to about, what is it, 2.6, 2.8 gigabytes per second. It's really, really fast. That's sustained write speed. As far as video goes, this camera, I don't care if it's doing RAW, there's no way it's going to take advantage of Gen 4, but the video specs would have to be pushing something pretty ferocious and be completely uncompressed RAW to be able to even benefit from Gen 4. And from my understanding, there's nothing about the R1 at this point that would benefit from Gen 4. Now, when it comes to offloading content from a Gen 4 card, yes, if your computer's fast enough and it's connected to the bus at the right point of the PCIe bus, then yes, you might be able to take advantage of it. But it's nice to know it has it. I'm just not sure where we're going to see any benefits from, because we're not talking about frames per second at this point. We had previous stuff talking about 100 and 240 frames per second burst, but we haven't seen that validation here. And those specifications from E8M 8888, yeah, we can toss those aside. Those are obviously not true. So we don't know the continuous shooting frame rate at this point. And as far as USB ports, it's going to be USB 4 compatible. And of course, that price, we talked about it yesterday, $64.99, and Canon Rumors is saying the exact same thing here today, that it's not a 100% finalized price at this point. What we brought you yesterday when we talked about that $64.99 price point, it is basically an internal Canon pricing. And because we're so far away from the actual announcement, we're hearing that it's going to be July and shipping sometime in Q4. November is what Joshua said. So if we're looking at July, and we might not even get a price at that point, who knows? But if it comes Q3, Q4, a lot could happen on the world that could change the exchange rate between the Japanese yen and the US dollar, causing them to adjust the price either up or down, depending on what happens to the exchange rate. So it's been a very interesting couple of days. Yesterday, I shot and recorded 5 videos. 5. I've never done that before. Completely exhausted. Getting up at 5:30 in the morning on my day off and started shooting. Didn't stop till 4, took a break, then shot 2 more videos, talking movies. See, things are happening so fast. We've got a lot of specifications right now, and at least at this point, you should have an idea if this camera is right for you or not. If you're still on the fence, well, we'll get some more information in terms of continuous still shooting, some of the codecs, what the dynamic range is like, ISO performance and all that kind of stuff, as well as what is this autofocus system like, this new AI enhanced autofocus system, because, well, we don't have a whole lot here. And yes, we've got some information, but to be able to have the reviews, to actually see Canon's own videos showing how this camera is able to hold up under various conditions, various scenarios, at this point, it's just got our imagination. So waiting for that stuff is going to be a big deal. Waiting for some reviews to come out, maybe even some leaked reviews, but there are still more specifications to come. What do you think? Is the Canon EOS R1 for you? Do you like it? If you're in this market for this camera, what do you like? Do you like the R1 so far? The R3? The Sony A9 Mark III? The Nikon Z9? Each of these cameras seems to offer something very different and radical compared to the other one. It's not like one is better than the other. It's like one is better in some areas than the others. Look at the Nikon Z9. That to me is the master of everything, a jack of all trades. It does 8K up to 60 frames per second. It does 20 frames per second lossless RAW. It's got really good photo capabilities and very good video capabilities. Then on the Sony side, we have the A9 Mark III with its global shutter, able to capture and freeze the entire frame at once. That's pretty impressive. No 2 millisecond delay there. So the Sony's got that. Canon, well, it looks to be, Canon's really pumping up their autofocus system. And the ability, the one thing that Canon Rumors didn't talk about that I talked about in my previous video, according to what Joshua said, is that the noise, well, it's very clear in high ISO, so that's good too. So it looks like the Canon EOS R1, from what I'm seeing right now, is going to be a very, very powerful camera when it comes to stills and sports action shooting. Around 24 megapixels, but it's with that AI enhanced autofocus system. That can really make a huge difference here. And I know we've got a lot of people that use this camera for wildlife and nature photography, but the way I really see this camera first and foremost, its primary target, sports, the Olympics, fast action, auto racing, NBA, that kind of stuff where you get up close, you got the 100 to 300, whether you're inside or outside, that's going to give you incredible results, especially with an f2.8. I really see this primarily as a sports fast action camera. The Nikon Z9, I see it as a general purpose, kick-ass, anything you want to do with it camera at 45 megapixels. And yeah, it's been a few years since that camera was out, leading us to wonder what the Z9 Mark II is going to be all about. But right now, the focus, the eyes, they're all on Canon with the Canon EOS R1. And we also have the Canon EOS R5 Mark II to think about too. I'm really curious. Things are leaking out. I told you things would leak out pretty quickly. They would start to snowball. I didn't think they'd start to snowball as fast as this. Normally, things would come out in a slower pace, but we're getting leaks from so many different sources, so many different places that, you know, Joshua will leak something, I will leak something, Canon Rumors will leak something. And it's like a tornado. Everything is feeding off each other. And I kind of wish I was you, because I'm working very hard behind the scenes, but to be able to be watching my videos, be able to read the posts on Canon Rumors, and to be able to follow other podcasters and other sites that are dropping hints, that are telling us information, is getting pretty exciting. And that's one of the reasons I have the smart pre-order links for the Canon EOS R1 in the description down below. I also have a whole bunch of sales on right now. Well, I don't have the sales on, but at Adorama, B&H, and Amazon.com, there's a whole bunch of sales down below from Canon, Nikon, Sony, you name it. I've got about 20 of them down below, some really incredible deals. But if you use, let's talk about the smart pre-order links first. Those smart pre-order links, well, obviously the pre-order links aren't going to be active right now, but once we have that actual announcement for the Canon EOS R1, as soon as the embargo is lifted, you'll be able to use those links, and it'll get you into pre-ordering the R1 a little bit quicker than if you go to B&H and Adorama, because what these smart pre-order links are going to do is show you every single option body alone, any kit packages, and then any kit packages that Adorama and B&H will show you. Sometimes they'll pair it up with different lenses, and that should help you save you 5 to 10 seconds in the pre-ordering. And I know you're thinking, well, what if this isn't announced till July? And that's fine, but see, a lot of people will be watching this video in the days, weeks leading up to these events, so that's why I've got them down there right now. And I just want to let you know they're not active until the embargo's lifted. And if you do use my smart pre-order links or my affiliate links down below for all the cameras that are on sale, you should know that I can get anywhere from 3 to 12% back as a commission. The good news is you're not jumping through hoops. You don't have to fill in any codes. You go directly to the website. You can log in, order, or you can log out you can log in as guest and order, and you get a great deal. You get to pre-order a camera, and I get a small commission back from Adorama, B&H, and Amazon.com. You don't have to pay any extra. So I have no idea what today brings. Obviously, this is the first video of today. I'm hoping I get a chance to relax, and we save some information for the, well, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, because I feel like a deer in headlights. Every time I pick up the computer, I've got another email coming in telling me information. I got a lot of emails today, and the second half of today, there were more or less emails validating what I'd already have coming out, or there are other links to photos. And a big thanks to everybody that's providing me with information. Very much appreciated. Really exciting time. So thank you so much for tuning in. Have yourself a great day. And if I don't see you soon, which I probably will, have yourself a great week. Cheers.